Mr. Stone, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Doing good. Had a great show with Jeremy.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Oh my God, it was fantastic.
Good.
Talked with that guy for 2 hours.
Nice.
Flew by. Yeah. Just had a great great talk.
He was
with
so
him.
cool, man.
He's totally into stuff. He's a big Jaws fan and all this stuff. And
The thing.
Nice.
He's actually coming
Nice.
back on the 16th. We're going to do a top 5 John Carpenter film show about our favorite Carpenter films.
Yeah.
His favorite horror film is The Thing. And I go, you want to come back in a couple weeks and do the show with us? He's like, yeah. I'm like,
And I see Vic. You
It's
got a nice
usually.
little- you got
Oh,
your
yeah, no,
Peach Fuzz girl in there, dude.
Yeah,
I like it. See,
I've been.
you are
this
heading
is-
off to being Wildcard 20 years from now. That's
Yeah,
Yeah, it's because I'm
working.
lazy. That's because I'm lazy. That's why.
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
guest has arrived. Can you hear? Oh, I see his audio is still connecting.
he's
There we
connecting.
go. He looks connected now.
Yeah, I'm connected.
Hey,
hear
how's
us?
it going,
Oh,
Mark?
hey, Mark.
Good. Nice to meet you guys. Thank
Nice
you
to
for
meet
having
you as well. Thank you for coming on our show.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Where did you go snorkeling?
Curacao.
Mm,
It was wonderful.
very nice. Have you been snorkeling long?
I'm a scuba diver, but my girlfriend doesn't dive, so we compromise with snorkeling.
Okay, that's awesome. When did that start? Like passion for scuba diving and snorkeling?
My whole life. I actually asked for a subscription to, it was called Skin Diver magazine when I was like 10. And my parents said, "This is Colorado. You're not diving anywhere."
Nice.
But
That's fantastic.
I actually got certified probably 20 years ago.
Oh, cool.
So
Okay.
always loved it.
Nice. Excellent.
I'm too scared of the water to scuba dive.
Yeah, that's too.
Yeah,
Deep
no.
water scares me.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was
Same
probably-
here.
It's probably Jaws that did
There's
it.
Yeah,
something
product
big
is
down
Jaws,
there.
yeah.
It'll come
Yeah.
and get you.
Yeah.
Right.
Curacao has never had a shark attack. They had a shark bump into a diver in like 1938. And everybody I talked to on the island, none of them have ever even seen a shark.
Wow.
There's your place, Dreadbull.
I don't
gotta
know.
get 'em
I'm
in.
so afraid of the water. I get scared in my pool at night, just floating. So I don't think there's any place that's really safe for me to go.
Nice. Well, we've got a great intro. We're just going to hang out tonight,
Great.
Mark. We got some fun questions for you about your music and just kind of just touring and life in general. And we got a couple of games we're going to play, and we're just going to have a good time and get to know you and just have fun.
Sounds awesome.
Excellent. All right, guys, ready?
Yeah, go ahead and fire away with your
Yes,
intro.
you love the intro.
cheesiness. Engage.
Hey, this is Jeremy Wagner of Broken Hope, and you're listening to Heavy Metal Horror. Check it out.
I am Montag, master of illusion. What goes up must come down, but not always.
This is Chop Top and stay heavy.
And Dreadbull.
And Wildcard.
And you are watching and listening to Heavy Metal Horror. Oh, yeah, thank you. Oh, kiddies, we have a wonderful show tonight. So very excited to introduce Mark Briody from Jag Panzer. Mark, thank you so much for coming on Heavy Metal Horror tonight.
Oh, thanks for having me. This was already fun. You guys are great. This is going to be a nice way to spend the Sunday evening.
Yeah, we're kind of a bunch of doofuses, so
Yeah.
Kind of is an understatement, but okay.
well,
It's kind.
Yeah. This was our community service option, so we just I would take that.
Oh, he's going to regale
nice.
us with a tune already?
All right, or he's already serenading us. What do you
Oh,
got?
I was gonna reach for the black one, but I grabbed the green one. So I always like to have one in my hand.
So
Nice.
Does it make you feel calm? Is it like a security blanket for you?
It is like
Nice.
like a Linus thing.
Can you sing
You
that? It's that Johnny Bravo song from the Brady Bunch. Clowns never laughed before.
No, the jacket won't fit me, so I can't sing it.
Okay. Nice. Well, how have you been doing during the pandemic? You know, the shutdown. I mean, how is it treating you?
Doing all right. Spending more time in the studio, trying to work on the next album.
Oh, that's great. Is this the new like solo album? Is Jag Panzer or?
New Jag Panzer album.
Oh, nice.
How's that coming along? Can you tell us
It's
more?
Oh, I'm very excited about the material. It's very cool.
That's
You've
fantastic.
not let anyone down, really. So the material is always very cool. That's
Oh,
a
thank you.
guaranteed with you guys. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
this will be your.
is-
Oh, I'm sorry. This will be your first in what, 5 years? 2017 or I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, 2017.
5 years,
Moving
right?
Chord. Okay.
Nice. And is there anything like what was the inspiration for saying, yeah, it's time for a new album?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, like
my
what the hell?
bandmates harassing
Yeah,
me.
why not?
Yeah, my bandmate's harassing me, calling me up. Dude, when are we gonna get new songs?
Who
Okay.
harasses you the most? Which one gives you the most trouble?
Oh, they all do. They're like so uncool about it. I mean, they're like my best friends in the world until it's time for me to deliver songs. It's like, get on it. What are you doing? Oh, I saw you post something about watching that show. Must be nice to have that free time.
Nice. That's fantastic. Well, that's great. That's great. Any idea about when and this year when the new album will be out?
No, I finish all the tracks myself. I'll demo everything, and then I get Harry involved, and then him and I redo it all again, and then I get everyone else involved, and then we demo it all again, and then we do it for real.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, what are you
So
doing
by the-
talking to us? You need to get busy on that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a really interesting process. That was like, well, actually one of the questions I was going to ask eventually was about your creative process. That's a lot of demoing. So it starts off with the idea. And like, does everyone contribute to that idea or shop it? Or how does it turn from your first draft into a finished song?
Nobody contributes to my first draft but me. First draft is just me, and I'll do drums, bass, everything. And then Harry will start switching it around. Hey, let's extend this. Let's move this. Let's maybe modulate the key a little bit here. Harry's very skilled musically. I mean, he reads music, is great at arrangements. He's been doing choir stuff since elementary school when I went to elementary school with him. So he has a lot of input. So we switch a lot of things around. We fine tune it. And then him and I get it together. And then we send it to our drummer and bass player, who just laugh for hours at the drum and bass parts I've written. Said, oh my God, those are terrible. So they change it up and they get proper parts in there. And then we're ready to go. And then we just start doing some fine tuning. And then we end up with a finished demo that's almost just like what's going to be on the album.
Okay.
Very nice.
Excellent. And then when you record in the studio, are you doing like track at a time layering it, or do you kind of everyone get together, play live, play the song through a few times and keep, the best take, or how's that process like?
Oh, I'd love to get together and play everybody live. We just don't have the budget for that. We have musicians, we have band members all around the world right now. So the way we've done the past 6 records is I'll do rhythm guitars first, and then we'll do drums, and then I'll recut the rhythms to the drums, and then we'll start simultaneously doing bass and lead vocals, and then lead guitar sort of fill all the spaces then.
Wow.
Okay.
That's cool. As fans, we never get to see that process, how the sausage is made. So it's always fascinating because everyone's got a different creative process. And,
Everyone's got a different sausage.
exactly. Yes, yes,
We've
Murray.
come full circle.
Right. And so that's fascinating, Mark.
I think when we're actually in the studio doing the real album, this time we're going to do some Facebook Live.
Okay.
And then we're going to do a live Q&A after every session with me. I'll be the only one. I'll be the only one in every session, but I'll always have somebody with me unless I'm doing rhythm guitar. So if it's drums, and Rickard and I will do a Q&A after each session. I don't know.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Just thought it might be interesting for people.
Absolutely. No, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a good way to utilize, especially social media. That's awesome. That's a really great idea, actually. So that'll be super cool especially for fans.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, to kind of see how that is done is going to make a lot of fans happy, and it's just fascinating to watch someone coming together and creating something like that. That's always a fascinating process to watch.
Yeah, and it makes you appreciate the music even more when you see the amount of work and passion that goes into it.
Right.
I watched Dream Theater when Mike Portnoy was with them. He used to always record everything that happened in the studios, and he would put out these behind the scenes videos and stuff of the whole process, and that was always really fascinating to me. So yeah, I'm glad you guys are doing something like that.
Yeah, I watched a Armored Saint live stream of their show earlier in last year, and afterwards they did a Q&A right as part of their stream there. That was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen that. I love Armored Saint.
Oh yeah, brother, good
Mhm.
stuff. That new album, fantastic. Ugh.
It's very good. So Mark, I guess we'll kind of go back to some basics. Like, when did you first get into music? Like, what was the inspiration that made you that attracted you to music, I guess?
I started buying vinyl when I was in 4th grade. My sister had a great music taste, my older sister, so she was playing everybody from Deep Purple to Cat Stevens to Elton John. And so she really got me into it when I was in elementary school. And then I would do whatever odd job or chores around the house, and I would just go buy vinyl. So I was always into listening to music. I didn't really think about playing until Harry joined I must have been about 13 or 14, and Harry's a year older than me. And we grew up on the same street. John, our bass player, lived a couple streets over. Harry joined a band, I think they were called Crystal Sky, with a bunch of 18-year-old guys when he was 15. And we saw him play, and I was just blown away how cool it was that they were up there playing. They played some Foghat and some Led Zeppelin. So I decided I wanted to get electric guitar, and Harry actually showed me my first song, Kisses God of Thunder.
Nice.
I told my parents, I want to play electric guitar, and they said, well, you have to take lessons with a teacher of our choosing. So they chose Johnny Smith Music. And Johnny Smith was Bing Crosby's guitarist, and it was a very strict jazz curriculum.
Nice.
Yeah, so I didn't go to lessons and learn like Paranoid.
Right.
I went and learned jazz, which I wanted to learn rock songs then, but I soon caught on how valuable that expertise was.
All those crazy minor chords and stuff, 13ths and things you don't often hear.
Oh, and taking lessons at Johnny Smith's studio is you start off just normal jazz theory, and then after 2 years he switches you to bass clef, because he personally believed that guitar should be written in bass clef. So all of a sudden you're having to read your music in bass clef, which I'm like, what? Come on. No, you got to do it. And I would go through a lesson, they'd write out charts where I'd have to play, and I'd practice it and go in the lesson and play it. And then they said, okay, but I want you to play different inversions of all those chords on the spot. I'd be like, oh my God. And that took me a long time to learn, but eventually got it down. And it was, it was very helpful education learning that. But once I was good enough to write songs and play, I think I was almost ready to turn 16. Then I talked to Harry and John and said, let's get a band together. And we got one together and called ourselves Tyrant, till we found out there was about 50 other bands named Tyrant. We became Jag Panzer.
It's a cool name, It's a great name.
I like it. I've gotten some hate mail about it in the past couple of years, but
Because
yeah,
of the not supposed Nazi connection, because the word
yeah,
Panzer.
and I explained to people, look, when we took the name, I thought, this is kind of like Led Zeppelin,
Right.
which was a German blimp.
Mhm.
So, and we don't have any World War II imagery on any releases or anything. We completely distance ourselves from that. But, I just got a couple of emails from people that just jumped to that conclusion. But, what am I going to do?
Right. And everyone's got to complain about something. That's low hanging fruit,
Yeah.
Some of the champ, it's easy for people to champion behind a weak cause, and that's I've always thought that was silly because you're not the only band who have succumbed to the generation that has consumed the last few years, in terms of, I don't know, just picking a fight with anybody for the sake of fighting, so no, I'm glad. I remember though, if you remember when the Anthrax scare was going on, a journalist asked Scott Ian if they were going to change their name because of the Anthrax scare, and he was like, no. So,
Basket full of puppies.
Yeah, because especially in Anthrax's case, they had a huge back catalog by that time.
right.
And countless tours. They probably had sold 1 million T-shirts. I mean, come on, what good would changing the name do?
Yeah, right. It definitely would stop that Anthrax scare for sure. That's,
I could just put a T in front of it, like Tanthrax.
ooh, yeah.
No.
That's what I'm
Right.
going to open a tanning studio
Right.
called that.
There you go.
Anthrax.
Exactly.
Great idea,
Yeah.
Montag.
Yeah. Mark, do you remember the very first song you wrote? Like once you learned how to play guitar, you started a band. What was the first song you wrote?
Well, before I got together, I didn't get together with Harry and John until I really wanted to make sure I had my chops down. Before that, I was jamming with a good friend of mine, Randy, and he was more into things like the Talking Heads, a weird combination of like he loved Yes, but he also liked bands called Talking Heads.
Yeah.
And he wrote a song called Martian Boogie, which is almost a little like the B-52. So I got to play guitar on that, which was my first time in the studio, which was just eye-opening. And I thought that was really cool. So that was my first time. The first metal song was Tower of Darkness, and that was with Harry and John and Rick, the lineup from our first EP. We recorded that in a 4-track studio. Looking back, the price we paid was outrageous. We paid $150 and we got an hour in the studio.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, wow.
Oh,
Crazy.
man.
And that was what year? Early 80s?
Yeah, I was still in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, probably like 1980.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, we were dividing up the session costs between everybody, and a couple guys in the band, I'm not naming any names, they didn't have their money, so I drove them down to donate blood.
Wow.
Hey, man,
They
whatever
donated-
works.
Yeah, they donated blood right before the session and forked over the money they got so we could afford it.
Did they pass out while they were tracking by chance? Or
Yeah, that was a terrible. We've done all kinds of crazy ideas. So that was a bad idea. When we recorded Ample Destruction, it was freezing in the studio and they had a wood burning stove. And for some reason, we thought whoever's tracking that day was going to have to go chop firewood and bring it. I mean, looking back, how stupid was that? It should have been the guys not playing.
right, yeah, nice and tired for your performance. The album turned out great. So I mean, I'm gonna try that the next time I'm tracking. I'm gonna go give blood and chop wood and see if it doesn't help me out.
Really gives
Like
a
the-
raw energy
yeah,
to the
the-
music.
The
you know?
ambient fireplace sound works pretty well too.
Yeah.
What attracted you to metal or power metal as a genre? What was it that you really said, yeah, I want to make a metal band?
Oh, I thought it had the most variety of dynamics and the most variety of sounds of any music I ever heard. And that just fascinated me. Like the first Rainbow album, you had Rainbow Eyes, which was very mellow. I mean, I played that for my parents and they're like, oh, wow, that's a really nice song. So Rainbow had everything from that to Man on a Silver Mountain.
Yeah.
And Killed It. I mean, just the variety was just incredible. I mean, just Dio's vocals, he could be very soft, and he did a lot of harmonies, and he had really nice vocals to just, he sounded like a demon. I mean, it was just, so it's just the variety just completely attracted me to heavy metal. The first metal song I heard was Smoke on the Water. My older boyfriend played it for me in his van. I know my dad used to complain about her dating a guy with the van, but it had a great sound system in it. And he would always play me like, he's the first guy that played me Rainbow, first guy to play me Rush, first guy to play me Deep Purple. So I thought he was great.
Did it have like a dragon or any kind of
Yes.
A mermaid on
fantasy
the
imagery on the
mermaid?
side?
Yeah.
It was
Shag carpeting on the
in
inside?
anticipation of the dragon. So it was a pre-dragon.
It's just an egg.
I mean, there's
Wait.
nothing more iconic than hearing your first, rock song inside of a van.
Not
hearing
just a
Smoke on the
van.
Water.
That's a
A shag and
classic
wagon.
van.
A classic,
Yeah,
yeah.
like that's a
A shag
classic
van.
van.
Yeah.
Nice. Excellent.
We were so I was still in high school, and we were playing and writing songs, but we wanted to get out and gig, so you had to do cover tunes. So
Yeah.
we learned all these cover tunes poorly. We picked the easiest stuff we could play. We were playing like Stone songs, and we wanted to play originals at these gigs, and they didn't let us. So what we would do, we would play a couple covers, and then we'd play one of our songs, and Harry would say, "This is a B-side of Black Sabbath, Paranoid, Dutch single." Play it. After every time we played, someone would come up to us, some drunk guy, "I got that single. You nailed it."
Well, yeah, that's impressive to to fake your own stuff as a Black Sabbath B-side. So that's awesome. Man. And it
Dutch
worked.
single.
Great.
Our last time, right before we went all original, I mean, we were playing songs from Riot. We were playing Angel Witch. Really cool. The audience didn't know who it was here in Colorado, but it was a lot of fun to play those kind of songs.
What kind of metal scene was? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead,
no, because I was going to say, like, that had to be, you had to have a pretty killer record shop around to find some of these releases, no? I mean,
Yeah,
just
we
from,
had
like Angel Witch, and I mean, is even in and of itself.
We had a shop in Denver called Wax Tracks, and Denver was about an hour, 10-minute drive from where we lived. It was started and ran by a couple punks, but Colorado back then, kind of punk and metal went hand in hand.
Mhm.
So it was a punk shop. It was in a seedy part of Denver, but it was amazing because they had it was about 3/4 punk and 1/4 metal, and they got the best metal in. I mean, I got Angel Witch there, I got Witchfind, but most importantly, there is I got my first fanzine. And then reading through the fanzine, I read about record stores like Oz Records, where Brian Slagle was managing that before he started Metal Blade.
Okay.
So I was calling him up. I mean, I was just a kid, and my parents wouldn't let me call long distance, so I'd have to get my quarters together and go to the paper. So I would go there and I would call, and if Brian wasn't working, I'd ask, "When's he working next?" "Okay, tomorrow." So I'd make sure I got my homework done and walk to the payphone and call him, and then Brian would tell me all the cool releases, like, "Oh, you got to check out this band, Tigers of Pantang. We get the vinyl coming in next week." Okay. So yeah, all my money then that didn't go for guitar strings went for vinyl.
Nice.
That's awesome. What kind of metal scene was there in Colorado and Denver area back then in the 80s? None.
Zero. We were actually the first band to even play an all original set. We had our EP out, and we approached a couple of promoters and just got every door slammed in our face until a reggae promoter said, "Hey, I like you guys." And we thought, reggae promoter. And he was a good reggae promoter. I mean, there were big reggae shows in Colorado, and he was doing all of them. So we went to his house, and he was really a cool guy. And he said, "Yeah, let's do a show. Don't count on a crowd. This is the first time we're doing all original metal." But yeah, so we hooked up with him, and he did a great job promoting it. And we actually had a really good crowd the first time we played.
Nice.
They weren't quite sure what to make of us. Some people were trying to dance to our music, which was good. But it went good because the next show we did 3 months later sold out.
Oh,
Nice.
that's very cool.
Oh wow.
Nice.
So did you guys sort of created the metal scene then in that area, huh?
Yeah, I would. The original scene, yeah. There was a few really good bands, like a band called The Offenders that had Randy Castile drumming that later went on to Ozzy. It had Randy Rand that went on to Autograph. So they used to play around here, but they would do the covers and then they'd play the occasional original. So I think we were the first ones to do all original sets.
Nice.
That's great.
It's a pretty ballsy move,
Yeah.
you know, for bands in the early 80s. You guys weren't, you know, the only ones trapped in that covers only thing, because that was even around here, you know, it was like that in the early 80s. You know, you play covers or you don't play at all. So it's a ballsy move to be like, no, we're gonna do the thing, you know. And that's everyone's dream, you know, not having to play somebody else's music.
Yeah, thank God we hooked up with Bill, the reggae promoter, because his reggae shows were popular enough that he had enough clout with the venues.
Okay, nice.
Hey, I need a date here for this metal band. So yeah, it was, that first show was all on his influence.
Nice.
Great.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, see, it sounds like it worked out the best too. If you got turned
Yeah.
turned down by other promoters, so
Yeah. Well, speaking of like playing out, like, you know, do you prefer playing like the smaller, the intimate venues or larger arenas? You know, like from a fan's point of view, being close to a band is fantastic. But you know, what's it like from the band's point of view?
Well, the smaller arenas, smaller venues are really cool because you got people right in front of you and you got people singing along, that's incredible. I mean, that's just, and you can shake people's hand, you can headbang with them right in front of you. So you can't beat that. However, when you play something like Vodka, that's something you dream about since you're like 13 years old.
Yeah.
right.
And just going on a monster stage like we did Sweden Rock in 2019, just going on that stage and just hitting the first chord with that massive PA. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Just Dreadbull. He just lost his internet, so he'll try and get on as soon as he can. That's where he dropped out. Well, that's pretty awesome. That was one of the things I was wanting to ask about these big festivals. Like you've been mentioned, you know, Bakken. Like, do you, when you're there playing a festival, do you get to enjoy the festival atmosphere as a fan as well, or you know, do you just get in and you play your set and get on, or are you able to kind of relax and get to spend time with, you know, watching these other groups?
Yeah, I like to enjoy it all as a fan. Sometimes I get carried away. We were playing Bang Your Head, which is a great festival in Germany. And we just got off the plane and Grand Magus was going to go on. So I gave a guy €5 to ride in his back of his pickup truck so I could get to the festival. He said, we're not expecting you till tomorrow. Well, come on, I got to see Grand Magus. So luckily they got my pass sorted out and I run up to see Grand Magus and there's a big crowd and I can't quite see him. So I decided to fake like I had a photo pass and go in the photo pit and start pretending like I'm taking pictures. So that lasted about 3 songs till security booted me out. Thankfully, everybody in the front row, people in the front row recognized me and made space for me to come up. So I got to see Grand Magus from the front row, which was fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome.
If all of these festivals, if I'm not playing on stage, I'm out there as a fan watching the show. Absolutely.
Oh, that's fantastic. So that's another question we wanted to find out. I mean, we're all fans of somebody, you know. I mean, we become what we become, or we like what we like because we're usually fans of that genre. So, can you, you know, have you met any of your musical heroes? If so, who have you met? You know, what was that like? You know.
Yeah, did a tour with Gamma Ray. So meeting Kai Hansen was a huge thrill for me, and he was a wonderful person. So that was great. Tour with Halloween, those guys were great. Grand Magus, got to meet them right after the set. That was good. Wolf Hoffman's one of my favorite guitar players. I've met him probably about 3 or 4 times. He's great. Met Iron Maiden and Halford. Yeah, everybody's been A few people have not been cool, but it's just not my style to mention names.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the ones I mentioned were great.
That's good. We usually hear about those things, and I appreciate that no one wants to throw someone else under the bus, and I get that it's a tight community. You might work again with them, but can you share like your most outrageous like life on the road story? Do you have something that's just crazy that happened to you like when you were touring?
Yeah, we were playing somewhere in the Midwest, and a girl was pretending like it was Mardi Gras with her shirt.
Nice. You just kept on throwing pics at her.
And some of my bandmates, well, I'm going to go get some pictures, and I said, well, I'm not, because I'm married. Oh, well, how are our wives going to find out? And I'm like, the internet? Hello? Oh yeah, and like, so they're all taking these photos, and everybody's having a grand time, and like 5 minutes after it happened, my phone's ringing. Hey, what are your bandmates doing?
Oh, wow.
Oh, that didn't take long.
No.
The speed of the internet. Look at that.
That's fantastic.
Oh shit! I fell.
Oh boy.
Oh, help me! I followed up.
Man, no doubt.
We've had a bunch of Spinal Tap moments. We played this building with Gamma Ray and Hammerfall in what was formerly East Germany. So it was this huge building that had a venue and like 50 other rooms in there. And our dressing room was like 3 levels down on the other side of the building. So we got dressed, and then we can't find the stage. And it was hilarious. It was just like Spinal Tap, where we keep coming around and seeing this custodian, except he doesn't speak English. He's just laughing at us and it's probably making fun of us. So it was finally one of Gamma Ray's road crew found us and got us, but that was crazy.
When you get on
Hello,
stage, did you go,
Cleveland.
yeah, hello, Cleveland?
Oh my God. Yeah. Harry did the Hello Cleveland in Cincinnati when we played.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Missed it by that much.
Yeah, they didn't like it. They were not fond of that.
The only probably place worse would have been if you'd done it in Pittsburgh. You know,
Oh yeah.
that might have been
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah, that would have been worse.
Oh, so we always like asking questions like this, like life on the road, because for most of us, except for Wildcard, most of us haven't had that kind of touring life. So, like, what's your favorite food to eat when you're on the road?
Oh, I will take our tour itinerary and I will put it all in a spreadsheet, and I will look up the highest rated pizza places.
I knew it.
Stop.
I knew it.
And then I will cross-reference versus what's closest to where we're staying and what's close to the venue. And
Dude,
so I have pizza mapped out at every single stop. My bandmates they always say, well, I'm not going to get pizza. I'm going to get this until it's time we're there. Oh yeah, I do want pizza. If they want to go with me with pizza, they have to be ready when I'm going, because I've got some bandmates that take like an hour to get ready. So I'm not doing any of that. If I say I'm leaving at 4 for pizza, I'm leaving at 4. So yes, there's usually some people going with me. And it's funny, we've done tours with bigger bands, and sometimes people from the headlining band will tag along. Or I want to do this daily pizza. They called it the Pizza Club. I want to do this.
That's
awesome.
impressive, man.
Yeah.
See, I swear, I think I knew that. I think that you've mentioned that before. So, which is a good segue into who has the best pizza. What is the best pizza?
And pineapple or no pineapple?
Oh, no pineapple, absolutely on that.
Bravo. That's correct.
Yeah, no pineapple. And also, I'm not a fan of when we get pizza as a group and people take like 3 slices at once. No, 1 at a time.
Learn your manners.
Pizza
yourself.
protocol.
Yeah, pizza etiquette,
Pizza
man.
protocol. Pizza etiquette.
In fact,
You
if we're
animals.
if we're bringing out somebody with us on tour, like we had a fill-in lead guitar player for the past couple of tours, you have to when we first meet him, some of my bandmates take him aside and tell him about the etiquette. You don't want to do this. Don't grab 2 slices. Don't do it.
So yeah, where's the best? Where's the best pizza in the country?
Oh, in the U.S., number one, I'd have to put New York, but then like 2 through 5 would be Chicago. Yeah, I like both. I don't have any preference. I mean, I really like both. I like Grimaldi's under the Brooklyn Bridge in New York City. In New York City, I thought that was wonderful pizza. John on Bleecker Street is wonderful New York pizza. There's a few New York places that are just outstanding. Chicago, Lou Malnati's and Giordano's are great. Pequod's is good. There's good pizza everywhere, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you ever get down to Greenville, there was a pizza place that used to be in Bowling Green called Miles Pizza Pub. And they moved to Greenville, South Carolina. So I would just recommend pepperoni, Colby Jack cheese, bacon strips on top, extra crispy. It's going to weigh about 8.5 pounds, like a newborn baby. Yeah, if you're asking for extra cheese, you're asking to be choked. It's
I love a place. There's a place here in Colorado called Dewdrop. It's about an hour from me, so it's not something I can go to often. But that pizza weighs about 8 pounds, and it's got the dough is slightly sweet. I mean, it's delicious. It's a fantastic pizza.
So we can put an order in with you, and you could like send a pizza out to us, then freeze it.
Yeah.
One slice at a time. I'll be
Yeah.
I do mail order pizzas. I do that. I order 5 from Giordano's in Chicago, and they
nice.
send them like.
That's awesome.
That's
They
cool.
send them so they're like 3/4 baked,
Mhm.
and then you flip it up. Those are really good. And somebody told me that some of the New York places are doing the same thing now, so I got to give that a try.
Excellent.
Wow. I don't think I've ever met a person that's so serious about pizza. That's great.
That's fantastic.
I
Right.
love it.
Which begs the question, Mark, why you haven't started a thrash band?
Yeah, I don't think I play guitar good enough to play those thrash players. I don't have that fast of a picking hand.
So who was the you liked metal, you mentioned like Rainbow and such, but the driving influence for your playing, what would be, is there a band that kind of drove the way that you play your style?
When I was learning to play guitar, it was Jimmy Page. By the time I got good enough to write songs, it was Ritchie Blackmore and Tony Iommi.
Okay.
And I think I model my rhythm playing like Tony Iommi. I mean, he's obviously one of the greatest ever, so I'm not comparing myself to him, but he likes to drag the beat a lot when he plays, which I'd love to do. So I think my style is definitely closest to Iommi's.
Okay.
Nice.
It's funny. I don't think there's a metal band in the world that doesn't have Black Sabbath as maybe the main influence. It's incredible the influence that one band has on metal as a whole. Everybody we've talked to, that's one of their main influences.
It's funny.
Rush always comes up too.
Yeah, Rush.
Sure.
It's funny. I'll be honest. Metal fans hate when I say this, but I grew up when I was a young teenager. I did not like Black Sabbath with Ozzy. I would argue with the older kids in the neighborhood. I'd say UFO is a lot better, Rainbow's better. But then when I heard Heaven and Hell, I was just floored. That was like the greatest I'd ever heard in my life. And then I developed an appreciation for Ozzy era Sabbath after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like two different animals, the Ozzy years and then the Dio years. It's like two different kinds of
I'm a Dio years kind of guy. I like the Dio years myself.
Mm-hmm. It dehumanizes
I like the Tony Martin years myself.
I like all the music.
Tony Martin. Yeah, that was great with Tony Martin.
And the one song he did with Ian Gillan, or the
album.
Yeah, the one that's
Born
Again. I think that's a great album.
Yes.
And he sounds great. That's one of the greatest covers, I think, metal album covers. Who doesn't want a Demon Baby? So, You know, to achieve what you've achieved, Mark, requires huge amounts of motivation and determination. So what motivated you early in your career, and have your motivations changed over the years?
I really, whether this is good or bad, I don't know, depending on who you talk to. I get motivated by negative comments. And when you're in a band, you can find plenty of those online.
Yeah.
So, when I was a teenager, it was, comments like, oh, well, you're never going to be able to write a song. You can't write a song. So that really, really motivated. Oh my God, I'm reversing my words. Really motivated me a lot. And then when we released our first record and started getting press, any negative comments motivate me. And that always does it. I get motivated now where I think we obviously don't sound anything like Dream Theater or anything. We're not really a prog metal band, but we do some really progressive things in the music that very few people pick up on. So I get highly motivated and pissed off when I read people, oh, they're Jag Panzer, they're just a 3-chord band. I'm like, really? How bizarre is that? But I actually hear that quite a bit, and that does motivate me.
Okay.
Oh, that's not something
Yeah.
I would think that. I wouldn't think that would be the comment you would see, but that's odd.
No,
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very, maybe because it's a very, some of the albums are very traditional sounding, mechanized warfare. But then you also have an album like Thane to the Throne, and so like that large concept, based on Macbeth. That how did that come about? Are you a Shakespeare fan, or
our drummer is, and it was his idea, and he was telling, we were all sort of familiar. He went to a much better high school than the rest of us. We went to the most underperforming school in the entire state of Colorado, and we barely paid attention when we were there. So we only cursory knowledge of Macbeth. So he filled us all in on Macbeth, and we thought, okay, that does sound, that would be a cool metal song. And so, we treated it almost like we were scoring a film of Macbeth. That's the way Chris and I approached the songwriting for that. And Harry wrote everything chronologically because he told me he wanted to write it like somebody would be doing a screenplay.
Oh, wow.
So we put a ton of work into that. I put some things, because back then I was really, really tired of people saying we're a very simple band. So I put some things on Thane that are just wacky, like in in Fate's Triumph, after the solo, the guitars are maintaining the same pulse where the drums behind it are changing the time signature, which is really weird. I don't hear a lot of bands do that. And of course, it's so obscure, nobody's picked up on it listening to it. And then the really weird thing I did was on one of the interludes, I wrote a keyboard melody line, and then I overdubbed it 6 times, but at slightly faster tempos. And then I kept repeating it. So it's not like a round, like everybody does row, row, row your boat in elementary school where people are starting at different times.
Mhm.
Well, it's the same tempo, so it loops around and matches. Well, on that part, I did the repeating, but they're in different tempos, so the stacking of the notes changes every bar. So it sounds crazy. It's hard to hear in the mix, but if you tune your ear to it, it's just completely bizarre sounding. And I actually haven't heard anybody else do that. I'm not going to suggest I invented that. I just never heard that done before.
Right.
It's interesting.
And that was on Thane. My bandmates gave me carte blanche to do wacky stuff like that.
Well, I think it fits the material,
Right.
And it's the play is so dark and brooding, and it's so full of imagery and symbolism. It makes sense. You could kind of push those musical boundaries as well.
And that brings up another point is, I usually do, I always start off the songwriting and I do most of the press. So there's a lot of people think this is my band, but it's actually very much an equal with everybody. And my bandmates will push back on me on a lot of things. So it was cool on Thane how they let me do a lot of the wacky stuff in there.
Yeah.
Some of that wacky stuff, as you mentioned, was this something you challenged yourself to do, or is this something that it has been part of your evolution as a musician? Like you're wanting to do these kinds of interesting things, because it's easy for bands to fall in a rut, but you're not. I mean, you're pushing these kind of boundaries, even if some listeners aren't hearing that. Now I'm going to go back and listen to that song, listen to it, like aggressively listen. So is this part of like you think your evolution as a musician?
Yeah, I want to push myself with things like that, because taking lessons at Johnny Smith's, Johnny wasn't teaching at the time, but he oversaw everything, and he was always playing every day. So it was a completely different perspective on music. You know, I talk to musicians now that say, "Oh, that's a crazy time signature. It's 11/8. It's so difficult." Well, when you took lessons at Johnny Smith, I remember asking Johnny, "Hey, Johnny, is it hard to play in 7/4?" And he said, "You know how to count to 7, kid?" Okay, you can play in 7/4 then. And then he played something for me. He just made something up. So it was a cool music education. And Johnny would push the envelope with different ways in his own music, because he had a bunch of albums out, and he would do some crazy things in the world of jazz. So I always thought, well, let's do that sort of thing in metal. So we were doing that from day one. And our first EP, Iron Shadows, has a parallel harmony in it, which is very wacky. So yeah, we were kind of doing, I keep using the word wacky, I don't know what else to call it. We've been doing wacky stuff since the beginning.
So you almost could have been called Jazz Panzer.
Oh my God. I hear that. Yeah, I hear
That might take away all those, wrong Nazi
Haters out
connotations.
there. Yeah.
Jazz Panzer.
Jazz.
Wow.
I've heard Jazz Panther. Jazz Panther.
So there.
As long as it's not jazz hands, right?
Yeah, just throw it out
Jazz
there.
hands are-
Right.
Which is the whole thing with my learning is hilarious, because I actually don't like jazz. I mean, I have highest respect for those incredible musicians that play it, but I just don't like to listen to it. Just not my thing.
Yeah.
So I was gonna.
Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
I was gonna ask. Going back, you talked about the early days, and there was like no metal scene in the Denver, Colorado and the Denver area, and how did you guys, first of all, like persevere? And you were giving blood to get studio time to make a demo. Like, how did you get from that point to sort of making it as a band? How did you
to Century Media? I mean, yeah.
and get yourselves outside of that small area. And at what point in your career did you feel like, wow, we're making it here? Like we can actually do this as a career, as a real band.
Well, John and Harry, Harry on vocals and John on bass, we've been friends since we were 6 years old. So we really genuinely enjoy spending time with one another. So I was the first one to get into underground metal. So I would play them bands like Witchfind and Angel Witch and Legend and Tokyo Blade, and they liked it too. So they would get excited about it. And, we like to hang out with each other anyway. So you might as well play and just rehearse. And one time we went, I think 400 days without missing a rehearsal. I mean, it was just fun, just hanging out and playing. So we developed a mindset where it doesn't really matter if we reach this career goal or anything. It's just really fun writing this music and just hanging out with each other and playing. And it's sort of always been that way. It's, every tour is fun, gigs, it's just a good time. I like spending time with the guys, and playing on stage. They're like brothers to me. Being on stage with them, you just can't beat that.
Yeah.
So how did you end up with a label? Like, how did you get discovered by, was it Century, your original?
No.
The original was Azra Ironworks.
Oh, wow. So how did that come about? How did they find you guys?
Well, I started buying fanzines from Brian Slagle. Brian Slagle had his own fanzine called New Heavy Metal Review. And I used to read it cover to cover. And I remember calling him up and he said, well, I've got about 6 other different ones. So I bought all those fanzines and I saw other fanzines. And eventually I came across one called Heavy Metal Times. And I noticed a writer for it was here in Colorado Springs, which was crazy. I thought that John and Harry and I were the only people that listened to underground metal in it. So I got a hold of him. I just looked his name up in the phone book, and there was 3 people with his name, and I called all 3 and got a hold of him. And he said, "Oh, okay, you guys come up to my house and bring your demo." So we got up and we played him. We played him Battle Zones and the Crucifix, and he loved it. And he was going out to California, so he went and shopped it to some labels out there. So we got an offer from Metal Blade and an offer from Azra. The Azra deal offered a colored cover and a picture disc. And back then, a colored cover was huge because most bands didn't do it. And I know as a metal fan, when I'd go to Wax Trax in Denver, if I saw a record like Angel Witch had a cool colored cover, I thought, it just made me want to, that sort of went to the top of my list. So
Sure.
In retrospect, it probably would have been a much better career move to be on Metal Blade. But we went with Azra and got the picture disc and colored vinyl, and that sort of set a foundation. We've had a huge fan base since then that collects all the wacky releases we do with shaped discs and colored vinyl and things like that.
Wow.
Do you
awesome.
still have? Do you have all of the stuff that you've released, Mark?
Yeah. It got to about 1990, and I noticed I owned no Jag Panzer records because all of that very much impressed girls. So, when you're 18, 19 and, see a pretty girl at the metal bar and, oh yeah, I can get you a copy of my vinyl.
Yeah.
Priorities.
Yeah.
So I ended up with nothing. So it took me about 6 years, but I got all the original releases back. And then since then, from Century Media on, I always have it as part of the contract where I can buy wholesale. So I'll buy a whole case of each record. So I have a whole room full of Jag Panzer stuff. And it does come in handy because when we had the song in that Charlize Theron film, Dark Places, they wanted, I think, 5 copies of the vinyl. And they legitimately needed it. They wanted to be authentic. So they were going from the vinyl for the soundtrack. So, because I started buying everything in bulk, I was able to get them everything they need. I overnighted it. They got it all the next day.
Nice.
Cool, man.
How did that happen? You getting a song in a Charlize Theron movie?
Well, I just got an email and it just said, interested in putting your song in a film. And I mentioned that to a few musicians I know around town, and they said, "Oh, that's just junk. You don't need to respond." And I said, "No, I respond to all that. You never know." So I responded, and the guy wrote back, and he still didn't say who he was, but I noticed he had his full name on the email. So I looked it up on IMDb. I said, "Okay, this guy's legit. He works on real movies." So I saw a phone number. So I called the number. I said, "I hope it's okay. I'm calling you." He said, "Oh, that's fine." And he said, "This is movie's called Dark Places. It's from the same author as Gone Girl. And it's got Charlize Theron, Chloe Moritz in it. Can we use one of your songs?" And I said, "Oh my God, how fast can you send the contract over?" But that was a learning experience because you had to sign a contract every time they changed something. Meaning if they originally wanted the song Symphony of a Terror and they wanted, I think, 41 seconds. Then they decided they needed 43 seconds. So that was a whole nother contract. Then they wanted Harder Than Steel. So it was a whole bunch of contracts. Then they called me one day and they said, "Well, I hope your song's going to be in the film." And I said, "Why? What's going on?" They said, "Well, some musicians don't like this. Teenagers are smoking weed to your music." I'm like, "Whatever, we're cool with that." Okay. So they were actually relieved that we were cool with it.
We were smoking weed when we wrote the music. Come on, it's all right.
So
Yeah.
But man, that was the thrill of a lifetime, sitting in a movie theater and hearing your song.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I can
I can
imagine.
Did you get to go to the red carpet premiere and all that stuff? Did you guys get
No.
Oh, that
no,
would have been awesome.
I asked and they tried, but it was no.
Oh,
I did
damn
get a
shame.
poster from the premiere though, and I got a huge poster, so I need to get it framed.
Yeah. Was it signed by the cast at all?
I have a script signed by the cast.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow,
Excellent.
that's cool.
That is very cool.
And shoot, what else was I gonna?
How many seconds was the final cut? 41 or
Oh, we
43?
had the longest song. We had the longest song in the film, which was really cool. I think we had almost a minute.
Oh
Nice.
wow.
Oh, I know what else I was going to say. The actor in the film, who's the young guy, I think at the time he's probably about 20 or 21, and he was a popular actor. My teenage daughter knew who he was. He posted on Twitter, at the gym working out, listening to Jag Panzer, and
Nice.
our website traffic went up like 40. It was crazy. I mean, and then I probably got 100 emails from people saying, "Oh, I checked out your band. This is great. I bought this CD." Yeah, it was at least 100 just from his tweet.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, that's awesome.
Well, there you go. Start giving those emails your social security numbers, guys, and they'll be millionaires or something, man.
That's right. You're right.
We'll get a bigger dong if we just answer the damn email. See?
Just not the Nigerian prince, the rich Nigerian prince.
Yeah,
Don't answer
right. How many movies
Wow,
are going to
that's an amazing. That is a great story. See, that's
That
the
is awesome.
content we're
Cool,
looking
man.
for. That's a
Yeah.
great story. Just a random email. You know what? I'm gonna do it, and it worked out. Look at that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The one thing I had to learn this lesson the hard way is they don't tell you how much they're going to pay you. You have to give them a number.
Oh,
Hmm.
$1 billion.
I gave them a number that I thought was a little high. And I thought, wow, but I'm going to do it. I can't tell you what the number is, but I gave them a number. Then they told me later, we would have went triple of that.
Oh, no.
What a shitty game.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, that's
Well, you still got $10, so that's not bad, right? Could have gotten 30.
yeah, I could have got a better pizza. With
Yeah, could have got a bigger pizza.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was our single highest money making event. It was a good paycheck for everybody.
No, that's
Wow.
awesome, man.
That's great.
super awesome.
That is fantastic. Now we got to see if they can get us 43 seconds of heavy metal horror in the
Yeah.
next movie.
Start sending those emails out, Montag.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to be in your movie. Right.
Get on it, producer.
That's right.
It's gonna be Chop Top talking about how he's got to go to the bathroom.
That's right.
That's the clip they're gonna use.
All our ailments.
Yeah.
We won't go there.
BDE.
We'll spare Mark any of that.
Right. Well, yeah, I love that you've got all this kind of creative energy going around, and your band's pushing you to work write new music. So what one creative endeavor are you most proud of?
Boy, that's a tough one. I mean, lots of them for different reasons. I'm really proud of Ample Destruction because it's maintained its status as a cult classic throughout the years. And I was a teenager when we did that, so I'm really proud of that. Proud of Thane to the Throne because that was hard. I mean, we probably threw away 2/3 of the material that we wrote because it didn't fit the storyline. Yeah, I there's something to be proud of all of them, I think. And we try to do things a little different with each one. I don't want to get stuck in the rut. This one I'm writing now, I'm not even done with the demos, and I've already seen the sketches for the artwork. We've got the photographer booked. I've got the layout planned. I've got everything else is in the works, except I don't even have the demoing quite finished yet. So it's a different order than we're used to, but it's going to be cool. And, I'm sure I'll be proud of this release too.
That's good. It's good being proud of what you've done, What's the one thing you love most about being in a famous band?
I don't know if I'd go there with famous, but I'll take it. Thank you.
You're in a Hollywood movie. That's famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I like that you meet the coolest people on the road. I mean, after every gig, we go out and meet the people. We don't run back on the bus or the hotel room. I mean, we go out and meet people and talk to them and take pictures. And you meet the most fascinating people. You know, I've met people that, you know, were Olympians, you know, and just crazy different things like that. Just really unusual. I've met people that were fabulously wealthy that are there in a denim jacket at a metal show headbanging in the front row.
Cool, man.
I've met people that travel, you know, drive in their car for 9 or 10 hours to get to the gig. And you just meet so many nice, cool people at every stop. So that's an experience that always stays with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on the counter then, what's the thing you love least about being in a famous band?
I hate that a lot of people don't realize that there's very much a caste system in the music business, which sucks. It makes me mad. To some people in the business, your whole worth as a person is based on how many records you sell and where you're at on the bill. I was once told that I couldn't go in a record company warehouse because I don't sell enough records. Yet the headline band, everybody else was able to go in and look around, but I wasn't, because I'm evidently not trustworthy because I'm not as big a band. I couldn't go to a record store in Germany that's one of the best metal record stores in the world, and I looked forward to going to it, and they told me I was not invited because my band wasn't popular enough, which was ridiculous. And that sort of thing happens a lot. Sometimes, you know, we'll be doing gigs and they'll have a, you know, photographer taking pictures, and, oh, you can't get any photos in any of these photos because you don't sell enough records. These are like the upper echelon people in the photos. I'm like, okay. And unfortunately, that kind of stuff happens a lot, and it happens in every genre of music. So it's probably actually better in metal than everything else. I've heard that it's terrible in other genres, but it is disappointing. And I know that it happens, so it's never a surprise, but I can't say that I'm ever used to it. It always makes me mad. You know, I don't create a scene and yell at people or do anything like that, but it's always disappointing when you're told you can't do something because you're not cool enough because you don't sell enough records.
Wow. That is disappointing. You know, that's sad. Yeah.
The other disappointing thing is there's a certain percentage of people in the business, and there are a couple journalists that have a problem with me because I'm don't have hair to my waist. I'm not banging strippers, and I haven't been arrested, and I'm not a dick. I've had actually journalists tell me that you need to be a dick. You need to act like a rock star. I have no interest in that. None.
I'm writing that one down.
No interest in being a rock. But unfortunately, there's some people high up in the metal world that just will grudgingly give me the time of day because of metal destruction. Otherwise, they don't want to associate me because I'm not, air quotes, cool.
Yeah.
But I'm not changing for anybody. You know, I am who I am.
Right.
Yeah, and you shouldn't have to. That's great.
Right. Yeah. I don't understand. I mean, people come in positions of power, or if they sell records, it's because of fans like us.
Yeah.
You know, and if without us, they wouldn't be anywhere. And you know, we've been doing the show only for a few months, since May. And in fact, we just started by just talking with people or with us, and we never thought we'd be doing interviews with people like you. It just kind of happened circumstantially, and then it just more became more. So nothing. This is not lost on us. The fact that, like, fuck, we're who we're talking to, and so as fans, we're delighted to do that. But I don't understand that mindset of like, yeah, I'm better than you.
Well, it's funny because it's like,
you know,
when you're in high school, like I this is something that I've thought about numerous times. You're in high school, you listen to heavy metal, you know, because you're the outcast, and And that's what you do, you know, like that's the thing. And then you get out of high school and the same high school clique mentality appears in the metal scene or in the industry. And it's like, man, the whole reason I was getting into this was to get away from this. To see it exist in that world kind of sucks. And at the end of the day, you're still there for the music, but it still sucks to have to experience like that level of bullshit, because I know exactly what you're talking about, Mark. I've gone through the exact same things, and albeit I haven't done as much as you have, but it still sucks. It's like, you know, we're all people here. I mean, yeah, I get it. You know, you don't have to chauffeur me around or anything, but still, like, you know, we played a festival one time where it was the exact same thing. There were magazines there they interviewed every band but mine. And there were bands there that were the equivalent of what mine was, had accomplished the same amount of things, were no more popular than we were. But, oh, you guys aren't from the California scene. So, you know, I remember one actually, it was funny because one walked up to the lady that was there kind of taking each band to the places to get interviewed, whatever. There was, I think Decibel was there. Somebody was there, one of the bigger magazines. And they just got done interviewing somebody. They were packing up and she goes, "Hey, do you guys want to talk to Vindicator?" And they were like, they literally looked at us and were like, so let down that there was another band and it was us of all bands. You could see the disappointment on their face. And they stopped and they reset. They're like, "Yeah, all right." And they asked us 3 questions, never got printed. They were more than happy to be done with that. And it was just sucked because it was like, you know, like we're all here for the music, man. It's like, you know, please don't act too disappointed when you have to do your job. But
yeah, I've seen that same thing. Yeah, it's disappointing.
Yeah,
it's funny. So with let me tell you a quick story about Vindicator, not the band. There's a street. I live off of a street called Vindicator. And the first time Jim Morris, our producer, came here to Colorado to visit, he said, "How do you get to your house?" And I said, "Okay, go past War Eagle and then turn on." And he said, "Okay, so if you run out of metal titles, you just drive around your neighborhood, right?" So we started joking with him and we said, "Hey, I'm going to go grab a pizza. It's, you know, it's over on Death from Above."
yeah.
That's great. Well, even though you weren't cool, Mark, air quotes, you must have had an opportunity. We always like to find this out. Were there any kind of quirks, perks, wishes in your contract writer? You know, special foods or drinks. You know, something that you, once you got to a level of success, that you were able to get. So what was on your contract writer? What good?
Oh, we have lots of water. In fact, well, a lot of promoters won't believe we really want that much water, and then they'll give us some beer, which is, we very much appreciate that. But we're known as the band that will trade our beer for extra water with other bands. we just, I mean, not that we don't drink. We'll drink occasionally. We just love water.
Yeah. That's a sensible choice. I mean,
And,
how dare you make sensible decisions?
I love when metal musicians just have something that's completely non-metal about what they do, like needing a lot of water. Like that's awesome.
Doing Pilates, drinking a lot of water.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah, or we talked to one musician a little bit a while back, and his evening after the interview was he was going to go do a load of laundry, you know, and do some dishes. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, oh, that's very metal, you know.
Yeah.
That's great though. Again, it just shows no matter what you do, you like the water. Was there specific water? Were you like,
no, just any water, any old
water? Okay. So now we know what to send you come Christmas time next year or this year. Send you a couple cases of water.
We do have one promoter overseas that thinks I'm a bit of a diva, and he's got a legit point, because he booked us, and it was on the rider for pizza for dinner, and I looked at the pizza place we're going to go to, and it got great. So I'm all excited for this, and we get there for the gig, and he said, "I know you said pizza, but actually we're going out with this 4-course huge meal." My bandmates were like, "Great, thank you." And I'm like hell, this contract, I want my pizza. And he thought I was kidding. And I was really upset. I was like, damn, I want the pizza. Where's my pizza? I was like way out of line. I mean, I normally never throw a temper tantrum, but I was, because I really wanted a pizza. And so, yeah, they ended up having to call in somebody from the stage group to escort me for pizza. That's exactly what I want. And then my bandmates, of course, they're joking, but everybody else at the show doesn't know they are, because they're like, well, yeah, Mark's such a diva. He's got to get his own way all the time. He had to have his own meal. And everybody's like, wow, really? Yeah, he does sound like a diva. Bandmates all laugh.
No wonder he won't get interviewed.
Yeah.
Oh, drinking water right there. There you go.
Trying to be a dick like that guy recommended, and look what happened.
There you go.
It's no win. You can't win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, Mark, I want to ask a couple hypothetical questions, and we're gonna have a game here.
Good.
Okay, so here's the hypothetical. First one. All right, an alien shows up and asks you to represent metal in 3 songs. What would those 3 songs be, and why?
Yeah, you have to go Heaven and Hell. Absolutely. I mean, just because that's got the whole prodding nature that's a big part of metal. So, and it's got Dio's vocals. So you got to go Heaven and Hell. You have to go Fast as a Shark, because that was the first song that did really fast playing, but didn't sacrifice the melody.
Yeah.
And my last choice, I think you got to go Nightfall on Middle Earth from Blind Guardian.
Oh, nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got the cool, all the layered vocals, which are, of course, are in a lot of Blind Guardian songs, but I really particularly like him in that song. And it's got the guitar playing, and the guitar melodies are phenomenal. He's Andre Obrecht is just such an underrated guitar player. So I think those 3.
And by the way, one of the aliens is Dio, so he appreciates that. Yeah, because he's not of this world.
So I got this idea about aliens. Do you know how aliens could invade the Earth? If they make themselves look like bad CGI.
Yeah.
Because people would film them and say, oh my God, aliens are here. Look at this video on my phone.
Yeah.
And other people are going to go, oh yeah, bullshit. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just bad CGI, right?
That's
Look how
the guy.
pixelated
You
they are.
just used a shitty app for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
There's-
would totally work.
it's so
There's the
obviously
new Jag Panzer album, concept album, right
fake.
there.
Concept album. Yeah,
Bad CGI.
bad
Yeah.
CGI alien invasion.
That's right.
And then
That's
and then
pretty clever, though.
And then people could make movies about the invasion, after we've repelled them, and they could make movies about it on shoestring budgets.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
Genius.
a win-win.
Performance.
Yep.
Yeah, little
Oh,
8-bit Mario's. Boop, bloop, bloop, bloop.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's brilliant.
What do you have a favorite piece of memorabilia? Maybe a concert shirt or an autograph, something is like, yeah, this was a moment that I cherish.
Tuft of hair, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually something I got in the mail one day. A huge Wolf Hoffman fan, a huge Accept fan. And I didn't know Wolf Hoffman was coming out with a solo album. And somebody had told Wolf Hoffman how big of a fan I was, because I had not met him at the time. And I'm just getting my mail one day, and there's an advanced copy of his solo album with like a nice note from him. I was like, wow, how cool is this?
Yeah, right.
See, you
Did
are
you-
cool.
See,
See?
yeah.
Other cool
Told you
people
so.
realize it.
Right. Oh, that's fantastic. That's great.
That's great.
Well, since you had never met him, do you have a celebrity who's like a bucket list celebrity? Like, if you could just meet one person, like, yeah, this is the person I want to meet. Who would that
Well, I eventually did meet Wolf several times, and he's great. The guy would really, and I got to meet Dio a few times. I've never met Tony Iommi. I think I would really like to meet Tony Iommi. There was one band I loved growing up with, and who are a huge platinum band, and I did try to meet them, and they were absolute assholes. So I'm a little gun shy about. I don't know if I saw Tony Iommi at a festival, if I would actually go up to him. I don't know.
Right.
Not that
Mhm.
I've always heard he's cool, but it was so this one band, it was so disappointing to me because I love their music so much growing up that they were just absolutely horrible. So I just I wished I had not tried to meet them. So I'm not sure. I would love to meet Tony Iommi if I knew it was going to be a halfway decent experience. I'm sure I'd be tongue tied and act like a totally crazy fanboy because I love Tony Iommi.
Yeah, that's great. We're all fans of somebody, and it is sad when you have that moment where you meet an idol or hero and they turn out to be a dick. That sticks with you, and then that never leaves.
I do know people that I know people that sort of know Jimmy Page, and they tell me he actually is pretty cool.
Oh,
so
cool.
That's my first guitar hero was Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, we're gonna play a game called Name That Festival.
Okay.
All right. Jag Panzer or Jazz Panzer, either one, is playing a festival with two other artists. I'm gonna spin this wheel of mystery, and we're gonna find these two other bands. And then I'd like for you to come up with the name of the festival that you're all playing at.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen. There we go.
Gonna need some creative juices for this one.
Yes.
No juices. Keep them juices to yourself.
All right. So I'm going to spin. So
use the creative ones.
The first artist to play along with Jag Panzer is it's Fleetwood Mac, just like
we had that one earlier.
Yeah, I was really hoping Madonna.
Jag Panzer.
Okay, all right.
We got one more spin. So.
One more. Here we go. It's coming. Ministry. All right, Ministry, Fleetwood Mac, and Jag Panzer are playing.
Grouping.
Yes.
Okay, and I have to name the festival?
Yeah, name the festival. What do you think that would be a good name for the festival?
I like sort of mid-period Ministry, Psalm 69. Some of the recent stuff I think is a little bit cheesy. So we're going to call the festival the Fleetwood Mac Cheese and Pizza Festival.
Nice.
Me and my kids will be there.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I want that shirt.
That's one of our best festival names so far. That's a good one.
Excellent. All right, I'm
gonna the Mac Jangzer Fest, or something.
Right. Mac Jansen. There we go. Fantastic. All these variations. Okay, I'm gonna name a band, and I want you to tell me your favorite album from that band. Okay. So we're gonna start with Opeth.
Oh, the first one, because it was
Morning Rise.
Yeah, it's such a different sound. I remember before I heard Opeth, I mean, people were comparing it to me with like My Dying Bride and Paradise Lost, and they don't really sound like any of them. So yeah, let me go with first Opeth.
All right, Dreadbull's looking it up right now. Yeah, their sound has changed. Are you following?
Orchid.
Now?
Sorry,
Orchid.
Morning Rise was the second one. Orchid.
Yeah. Do you listen to Opeth now? Have you heard anything that they've done recently?
No, I'm not they're really creative, and I like what I sort of have a differentiation between what I like to listen to and what I appreciate, and I appreciate Opeth too, and I've seen them a couple of times and liked it, but it's just not something I want to listen to lately.
Okay. Hey,
but I go in waves, so I could become a giant Opeth fan next year.
Yeah. Iron Maiden.
Number of the Beast. Lots of great Maiden choices. Power Slave, Number of the Beast, Peace of Mind. It's funny. Are you familiar with the band Tiger Tails? They were a British glam band.
Yes.
Yeah, they were pretty big for a few years in the 90s. But anyway, and they're an all British band, but the drummer used to live here in Colorado just for about 6 months before he went back to England to form Tiger Tails. And so he was a friend of mine. I remember him called me up and he said, "Mark, you're not going to believe it. A friend of mine is here and he's on Iron Maiden's crew and he has an advanced copy of Power Slave." Ooh. So yeah, I was running lights to get up there. So yeah, I got to hear Power Slave about 2 months before it came out.
Nice.
Great. Awesome. What'd you think?
Loved it. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm a giant Iron Maiden fan. I mean,
As
we-
are we.
Yes. Yeah.
we saw them on the Peace of Mind tour, and my girlfriend at the time was an excellent artist. So we went to the San Bernardino show, and she sketched the backstage passes. And then we went back home. She painted us all fake backstage passes, and we used it at the Long Beach Arena the next night.
Nice. Scream
That's
for me, Long
brilliant.
Beach.
That is
Yeah.
brilliant.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Very
Oh.
nice.
They changed the colors each night, but we had been to enough gigs to know that they did that. So we had about 3 or 4 different variations she had ready to go. So we all got in and got backstage.
And that was Long
Nice.
Beach, Peace of Mind tour.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Did you see them during Live After Death at Long Beach? The
No.
legendary.
No, we had moved back to Colorado. The next time I saw them was with Accept at Red Rocks. I think that was
Gotcha.
on Seventh Son of a Seventh Son tour.
Oh, that's a great tour.
Yeah, that
we
was a brilliant
we
tour.
saw them there.
That
was
had to be an amazing show to see at Red Rocks itself, because that venue is
The venue's gorgeous.
wildly amazing.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I've always never played there. That's the only venue in the world that I've really wanted to play that I've never played.
Wow.
That's well. I hope you'll be coming out if the new album comes out. Do you plan on a tour, or do you want to wait until the plague leaves us?
Yeah, well, we've already had to cancel another European tour, and we had to cancel a South American tour because of COVID. So I don't know, and it's particularly difficult for us because Harry lives in Greece, and our drummer Rickard's a Swedish citizen. So we have to make everything work for the COVID requirements.
Yeah.
You know, Harry has to be able to go back and forth freely. Rickard's got to be able to leave and come back freely. So we're ready to go, and we've got a good agent, and there's certainly interest. We did that tour in 2019. We started in London, traveled across Europe, and ended at Sweden Rock, and it was good attendance at the shows, which was always nice to see.
Yeah.
So I think we have a lot of options for touring.
All right. Well, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to have life come back to normal.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give a few more of these albums or bands, and you tell me which album you like. Testament.
Oh, New Order.
Oh,
Nice.
old
Yeah.
school.
Old school Testament. Nice.
The Preacher is, I think
Oh man.
that's one of the best thrash songs ever. Just
Mhm.
when the drum groove kicks in when Chuck Billy's like in 1906, as the preacher predicts, the city will crumble to the bay. I mean, that is just a killer riff.
Yeah.
Love that. Disciples of the Watch is great.
Yes.
One of
Great
my
album.
favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, that EP they put out, Return to the Apocalyptic City, that live EP is just, oh my, it's got all those old school songs on there, and it is a ripper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all
Right.
huge Testament fans. One of our
Oh,
favorite
yeah,
thrash
sure.
bands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, another band, Queensryche.
Oh my God, everybody's going to hate me for this. Everybody else in my band loves Queensryche. I'm actually not a fan.
Okay. Hey.
And I'll explain
All
it. I recognize they're great musicians and they're wildly successful, and I've met them a few times. They're all very cool. I just don't, I don't like, and I'm not putting him down. Jeff Tate's a great singer. I don't like the idea of ending a phrase on a high note. I just never have liked it musically. I know
Well,
it's
that's an interesting point. Yeah.
completely legit, and lots of bands do it. I liked when Freddie Mercury did it, but he did it very sparingly. And Freddie Mercury had a great approach to it. I'm not a fan of really anybody else doing it. Harry does it occasionally, and everybody else in the band likes it, so it goes on the record. I'm just not.
Okay.
And Jeff Tate does it a lot.
Yeah,
Queen
he certainly does.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
All
a
right.
valid point too.
That's
You're not
legit.
just saying,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're just terrible.
Well, we just like everyone, hearing what everyone likes. I mean, that's the
Right.
great thing. We all like what we like, and some things we don't like. And like you said, there's a difference between liking it and respecting it. You can respect it without having
Yeah.
to like it.
Mhm.
And so we just like to find out these things. See where everyone's coming from.
I can listen to Operation Mindcrime and completely appreciate the absolutely genius level arrangements, and it's great, but it's just not I just don't want to hear it. Just not,
Sure.
not
Yeah.
something I like to listen to.
I get it. All right. How about Anthrax?
Oh, Among the Living.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a classic.
Yeah.
Megadeth.
Peace Cells, classic Megadeth. Although I did like, I liked what was it Endgame? I'm trying to think of the title where Chris
Yeah.
Rock-
United Abominations and Endgame, I think.
yeah. Because Chris is a good friend of mine, so I did pay a little extra attention to the Megadeth albums with Chris.
Yeah.
So I liked those albums as well. I know people that are a lot more hardcore Megadeth fans of me, and that some of them don't like those albums as much.
No.
but
See,
good.
I am, and those records that Chris was on, they're pinnacle records. I didn't like Super Collider, but the other ones that Chris performed, as I think he was on it for that particular release, the other ones that he performed on, to me, it's just more quality Megadeth stuff. Like, they were phenomenal records, and it was super cool that he was in there. I mean, like, for me and my friends, that was exciting too. Man, this guy was in Jag Panzer, now he's in Megadeth. That's cool.
It was
maybe
cool
not
when-
cool for you because you had to replace him, but
No, he's such a great guy. We're good friends. I was happy when he got the Megadeth gig. I mean, there was no issue at all. It wasn't.
yeah,
It was cool. It was fun touring with Chris because his technique is flawless. And
Yeah.
I would just mention things like, "Hey, Chris, I was just watching Crossroads. I like that Steve Vai lead." And Chris is very humble. Chris is like, "Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I think he did this." And then Chris would play it flawlessly. I mean, anything I could bring up, Chris, I like that lead for Over the Mountain that Rose did. Yeah, that's a great lead. I think it goes like this. And then he played flawlessly.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, one more band, Slayer.
Not a big Slayer fan either.
Would you rather do Kiss?
Yeah, let's do Kiss. I
Yes,
mean,
you got it.
I like the riffs in Slayer. I just I'm a big harmony vocal guy.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Kiss is
Yeah.
there. Kiss is there.
You
then?
know, yeah, I appreciate Slayer's contribution to metal. They've been huge, and they got tons of young people into playing guitar. So, and when I met Slayer, Tom Araya was great. So, nothing against them whatsoever. Just I like more melodic metal. But Kiss,
Yeah.
Destroyer,
Mhm.
because God of Thunder is the first song I learned on guitar. I like Love Gun as well. I'm actually not a huge Kiss fan, though. Everybody else in my band, John and Harry, were like diehard Kiss fans growing up. I mean, they had the comic book where they gave blood.
Yeah.
They
I have one too. I've
the
got one.
rooms were decked out with Kiss posters. I was more of the Led Zeppelin kid, and they were more of the Kiss fans.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Are you a horror movie fan at all? I mean, we are heavy metal.
Oh yeah,
horror, so
I'm a huge, I'm a big Dario Argento fan. I watched The Church again a few weeks ago.
yes, that's a good movie.
Yeah, I like I like the original Wicker Man so much. I named my daughter after a character in there, and I've got an original Wicker Man movie poster from the debut, which someone tells me
Cool.
worth about a couple grand. I've got that in the entryway.
Nice.
I used to in the 80s we would watch all the obscure ones like Basket Case and
Yes. Mother's Day.
Basket case.
Basket Case is great. I know Dreadbull and I watched that one.
Yeah.
Chopping mall. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So,
On VHS.
what can you give me a list? Maybe like what's your top maybe 3 favorite horror films of all time?
Oh, well, Wicker Man's number one. Although I call it horror. I mean, I've heard some people debate that it's not. I would buy that, but I find it horrifying. I really liked Rosemary's Baby because it was so shocking, because it was a high budget Hollywood film. And I watched it with my parents and I'm like, oh my God, they just showed some devil who's raping a woman. They give drugs. It was shocking. And it's just a good film. I like that. I like Suspiria. I think Dario Argento's brilliant. And the soundtrack, the Goblin soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah.
I could just watch Argento films all the time and be happy.
Yeah, I watched Inferno last week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was on one of our movie channels. I'm like, I hadn't seen that for a long time because I love Suspiria as well. Inferno has that. It's visually, it's a striking movie too, you know. Well, I know you're not an Opeth fan as much, but on the album Pale Communion, they have an homage to Goblin. They have a little bit
I didn't know that.
Yeah, in the first song, Eternal Rains Will Come, there's a little break about 3.5 minutes in where it's totally Goblin. And then there's actually a musical song called Goblin where they you can definitely tell their influence there. So just throwing it out to you if you want to give it a try.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Oh, so other than these horror films, like what are you streaming now? Like, are you watching anything good on Netflix or Hulu, anything like that?
I just watched the TV series Detectorist again for like the 5th time. I think that's one of the best TV series ever. Have you heard of that?
Oh, the Detectorist, yes, where they're panning looking for metal. Yes, that's a brilliant show.
Yeah, because I like it because the camaraderie between the two guys really reminds me of my bandmates and me. They're just such close friends. I really like that. I streamed Knives Out yesterday. Loved it.
Yes, that's a great movie.
It reminded me of something out of the 70s, that whole mystery thing, and actually reminded me of a movie I saw when I was a kid called Arnold, which it was a B movie, I think like in 74 or something. And it was kind of a whodunit.
Okay.
So I like that. I'm a huge James Bond fan. One day I was, I had watched View to a Kill, and I went down to the grocery store to pick up a frozen pizza. And I'm like, oh my God, Grace Jones is in my grocery store. I thought somebody slipped me drugs or something. You can't have a Bond henchman in a grocery store in Colorado Springs. So like my car, and I'm like rubbing my eyes. So then I'm kind of following behind her. I'm going, oh my God, what's Grace Jones doing here? So I went up to a cashier I know, because I've lived by this grocery store for 20 years. And I said, is that Grace Jones? And he said, that's Grace's sister who lives here in Colorado Springs. She's a firefighter and she looks just like Grace. And she does.
Wow.
So coincidentally, a few months later, my wife at the time had started a grease fire and she came and put it out for us.
Oh, nice. Did you do that on purpose to bring her out?
No, I mean, would seem like it. No, but I said, you look like your sister. And she said, yeah, I hear that all the time. And I said, I'm a fan. And she said, thank you. I'll tell her. And
did you have her sign stuff? Cool. Just because?
No, I should have. She was nice. And she was an outstanding, firewoman. She was great. She handled everything.
Nice. I see that you enjoy hiking, which obviously you would, given your state is beautiful. How many times have you had to fight off bears? I know Montag didn't leave, did he?
Yeah. He's
look at that. He snuck right out.
He just up and left.
Yeah, I don't have the gallery view. I can only see who's talking. So
look, we're gonna tell him. Look, you got up and left, and Mark was like, "Fuck this, I'm out."
Yeah, he said, "I'm out of here, man."
You guys just gonna get up and leave on me like this? All right.
Yeah. See, you just got done telling him that you just got done telling him he's cool and he's famous, and then you left the fucking interview.
I did do this.
You just up and leave.
We didn't see you, buddy.
I didn't either. Like,
whoa, there he is.
Okay, now stop talking about him again.
Okay.
Oh, well, we don't need
I just figured you would carry on the conversation. I went, I'll be right back. I muted myself. Well, I muted myself first. So.
Okay, bear encounters. I've had 2.
Oh.
One, I ran right up on a bear and he looked at me and walked the other way.
Oh, wow.
That was about 3 years ago. And then I had the bear encounter a few months ago. I hightailed it out. I backed up quick because he was agitated that I was approaching. Yeah, he was doing the huffing.
Boy.
Yeah.
Boy.
He was big.
Oh my God.
Do you carry bear spray with you when you hike?
No, because I talked to one guy who's a wildlife expert, and he said you should get some bear spray. And I said, all right, I'm going to get some bear spray. And then I made the mistake of talking to one of his coworkers, who's also a wildlife worker, and he said, no, you don't want bear spray. It just makes him mad, and he'll more likely to kill you. I'm like,
wow.
And they're both really knowledgeable. So I said, okay, I'm not going to carry bear spray. So
What about a mountain lion? Any mountain lion in the area?
I've seen one very early in the morning. They do have them here. They tell you here that if you see a mountain lion, he doesn't want to kill you. We've
Right.
had a couple people attacked, not recently. Got about 20 years ago, I think an 18-year-old kid was jogging and was killed by a mountain lion.
Wow.
Yeah, you're screwed if a mountain lion wants you. I've had about 6 encounters with rattlesnakes. One took a strike at me and just missed. And for some stupid reason, I like trash talked him then and took my phone out. I don't know what I was thinking. So I have a picture on my phone and I called up our drummer and I said, yeah, this dumbass rattlesnake couldn't even bite me. You know, so,
You're so stupid. You missed.
and he gave it his best shot and he missed. But my other rattlesnake encounters, I've been able to see them before I got up on go around them. The place where I run every morning, I do 5 miles. There's a lot of rattlesnakes there.
Oh, wow.
If you want to see a rattlesnake in the wild, come to Colorado. And I think if you went on these woodland trails in an August morning at about 9 a.m., you'll see a rattlesnake.
Wow.
No thanks.
Yeah.
See, that's why I'm
Got it.
thankful we live in Ohio. There's no bears. There's no man-eating cats. There's no poisonous snakes. It's pretty safe. Yeah, my number one way to not die is get eaten by a wild animal.
We do have the
That's
occasional.
just
We do have the occasional big cat, though, Mark. It's
Yeah,
Dreadbull.
We also
do
have
those.
crackheads. We have crackheads.
Crackheads, those are more dangerous than
I get the crackhead
Oh,
spray, and
yeah.
that keeps them away pretty well.
the crackhead spray.
And they, they always told us about rattlesnakes growing up here, and they said, they can't kill you. But actually, 2 years ago, a 30-year-old man was bit by a rattlesnake and died.
Oh, wow.
Who knows? My doctor told me the worst part about getting bit by a rattlesnake is insurance only covers 1 vial, and you're going to need at least 6, and it's 10,000 a vial.
Holy shit, that's
What?
fucked up.
Gosh.
So I always figure if a rattlesnake bites me, I'm going to catch that rattlesnake and I'm going to make him work in movies and commercials till he pays off.
Nice. What a great plan.
How do you follow that up?
Yeah,
You know?
got nothing else to say.
Yeah.
That's a showstopper right there.
I think I'm questioned out.
I love it. That was beautiful.
Me too.
That's great. That's great. Mark, thank you again for being on the show. We really appreciate your time,
thank
and
you.
I've had a great time getting to know you, and we're really excited about the new album coming out. Would you be able to come back on when the album's ready and at least do a plug for the new record?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
And, we have a publicist that arranges those things, but there's a few people like this was a lot. I had a great time with you guys, so you could always just reach out to me directly and not my publicist is going to hate me saying that, but
No, that's well, wonderful. After the show's over, I'll get your contact information and that'll be great.
It's good reason that the publisher doesn't like to hear that because it really works good where he sets everything up and coordinates everything. But
Sure.
But yeah, you can just get a hold of me directly.
Well, thank you very much for that. So
Yeah.
would it be too much to ask for you to do a bumper for us? This is Mark
Sure.
Briody of Jag Panzer, and you're watching, heavy metal horror or something like that. Any way you want to do it would be fine.
Yeah, let me think. Oh, let me show my gap first. So anybody saw this during the interview, okay, it's not from meth, it's from snorkeling and hitting a rock in Curacao. So it's a missing tooth. I have a fake tooth that I put in that I talk really weird and it gives me a lisp. Not that having a lisp is weird. I have a few friends that have them, but it's hard for me to talk like that with the fake tooth in. So I'm not wearing the fake tooth and I get my real tooth in April. Okay. So give me the whole bumper thing again. I just forgot it because I went off on my tooth tie.
Yeah, no, I thought for a second I thought that might be the bumper. I'm like, well, hey, I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right. Something like, this is Mark Briody from Jag Panzer, and you're watching and listening to Heavy Metal Horror.
Hi, this is Mark Briody from Jag Panzer. You are watching and listening to Heavy Metal Horror, and I just repeated the exact bumper I was told to you. So give me an F for originality on this one. But definitely watch this. Very entertaining.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll take it.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Again, thank you. We've had a great time.
Oh, this was
really
fun.
appreciate it. Good. Well, you're welcome back anytime. Seriously. I mean, if you just want to like, because we also do horror movies. So if we ever do like an Argento day,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
then we'll, or other favorite horror movies of yourself, or when we talk about the Wicker Man. Oh, I did want to mention, if you like Wicker Man, have you seen Midsommar?
Yes, loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you would, because it's very similar in that kind of concept, that theme.
Yeah, we watched that, and then we played Sweden Rock. So I had a few people in Colorado saying, "Oh, does the stuff in the movie, does that really happen?" I said, "Yeah, of course. We had to do all that stuff at Sweden Rock."
Yeah, that's a brutal film.
I can say that stuff very deadpan, so I get some people to believe it, and then I have to go back. Look,
That's the best, when they believe you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, when they don't pick up the dry sense of humor, that's the best.
Yeah, I love dry sense of humor. I'm a big fan.
Uh,
But Midsummer was cool. That was ruthless. That she let her boyfriend burn to death. That was like,
That's rough.
mhm.
He had
Yeah.
that. He had that kinky sex with that old person, or was it an old person, or was it just a? I can't remember. It was so drug
Me neither.
induced. There was sex though. There was sex, and then he burned. That's what I remember.
He
That's
burned
what
in a
happens.
bear outfit or something, wasn't it? I don't know, teddy bear outfit or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was their
yeah.
furries.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the bear that you want to stay away from in Colorado, right?
yeah, I would have got out of there a lot sooner than they did. I would have.
Yeah.
I have good escaping skills. I've been in places with my band member, and I said, "Look, I'm out of here. This is too sketchy." And
Can you
I made-
elaborate? That sounds like a good, like a venue or something. I mean, where were you having to escape?
Escape skills. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Jamaica.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, some of my bandmates, I'm not mentioning names, but it's a bunch of them, decide they wanted to partake of something in Jamaica that's legal here in Colorado, but may not be where your listening audience is. So they decided, and they were told to get it in Jamaica, you have to go to a really, really sketchy part of town, way out of the tourist area. So yeah, they went there, but yeah, I had enough of that. So I did not go where they went. They went where
Yeah.
people had machine guns and
Mm-hmm.
sold products in tin shacks. And
oh,
I know
boy.
they were quoted a price of $40 and talked them down to, I think, 80 cents.
Wow.
Oh, wow, that's some great
Good marketing.
negotiation skills.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I mean, I can tell next time if they go back, my mom went on a few mission trips to Jamaica, and they were offered that quite frequently. And I'm like, Mom, why the hell didn't you bring some back?
For your mission trip.
I know. She
They're
did
not
bring-
going to check your luggage.
Yeah, exactly. She just stuff it in her Bible. She did bring me back this T-shirt that said "Things I Love in Jamaica." It was like there's a chicken, and then there was a pot leaf, and then there was this kind of girl. They were all like kind of silhouettes, like spread eagle. And I'm like,
Wow.
chicken pot pie. I'm like, oh my god, because that's what it said underneath.
Wow.
And she had
Chicken
no
pot pie.
idea what that meant. The whole pie
I
reference.
totally believe that.
And or the pot. I go, Mom, do you know what this is? She's like, no, I just thought I know you like pot leaves. I wanted to get you something with a pot leaf. And I'm like, I don't like pot leaves. I want some pot. But then the whole pie thing, why is this girl here? She's like, I don't know. I go, I had to explain it to her. She's, oh, I'm so embarrassed. I go, well, next time I'm going to come to church with you. I'm going to wear this shirt. And she's like, no, Mark Allen, you can't watch it. You can't wear that.
Yeah.
So next time, if your bandmates, some of them go to Jamaica, they don't have to go and get shot at with machine guns. They can kind of get it right off the main route. So,
Or from one of the mission workers.
when they went there in Jamaica, I went shopping by myself. So I'm going in all these cool little shops, and the people are very friendly, and they're all telling me, "Oh, we'll give you a special deal because this is Bob Marley's birthday." And finally, in 5 shops, I said, enough of this bullshit. Quit telling me it's Bob Marley's birthday. I know I'm a tourist, but I'm not an idiot. And the guy breaks out a book and shows me when Bob Marley was born, and it was Bob Marley's birthday.
No 80 cents for you. $40.
So I bought, the souvenirs for my kids from that guy because I really felt bad because everybody was telling me the truth. It was
Wow.
Bob Marley's birthday.
Yeah, it's probably a national holiday in Jamaica.
Honestly,
Yeah.
it might be.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
he's an icon, so
Yeah.
it probably is.
Nice. Oh, well, I think on that note, we can work our way out of here. I'm going to do our little commercial, and then we'll get out of here.
All right. Do
You
it.
can find Heavy Metal Horror on unsaneradio.com. Listen to full episodes or download to your device. You can find us on Facebook, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. On Instagram, look for Montag Lewis, one word. Our YouTube page, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. If you're watching, you're there. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you know someone who'd like our show, tell them about us. This has been Montag, Master of Illusion.
Chop top.
Dreadbull.
Wildcard.
All right, we're gonna have you come in, Mark, and join us for our outro. You've been watching and listening to. Ready for the horns? Heavy metal.
Trying to get him in the picture. There we go.
There we go.
Heavy
Perfect.
metal horror. Can't believe it.
Yes.
All right,
Nice.
brother.
Hey, that was wonderful.
This is Doug Helvering, and you have been listening to Heavy Metal Horror, the best podcast that you've never heard before.